Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another One Piece manga review. I'm one of your host, Mr. Lindenberg, joined by my co-host, as always, Mr. Verson the Vassal. We are here. I know we didn't talk about 1123. We will touch on it. Verson will probably talk more about it than me, but there are things in this chapter that I think are worth mentioning. But we are definitely here to review chapter 1124. A lot of powerful stuff in that chapter. But Egghead seems pretty much over. Without further ado, Verson, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right, busy week. About to go ahead and see my brother. He's moving to
Nice.
undisclosed location.
You going to help him move?
Yeah,
Nice.
he's gonna buy a sofa. I'm gonna help him carry sofa. Move stuff around. You know how it is.
Nice. Good brother activities.
Well, I try.
I feel I'm right there with you because I've helped my brother and both my cousins move. Ask me, did Reg help me? I'm going to CC him this, and he's gonna be like, I don't give a fuck. And I'll be like, wow, you're a
Normally,
shitty
I'm a
person.
Reg defender, but I agree.
Thank
I'll
you.
give you this one. I will give you this 100%.
Like, geez, bro. We like as family, you're supposed to help each other because you're not gonna call on friends. Like, yeah, you could call your friends, but like your friends don't want to help you move. Your family are obligated to.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you're moving out of their house or like your mom's house or whatever. It's like, you want me to move out the house or not?
Yeah, facts. And then my thing is, I know people are gonna be like, "Oh, Lennon, they're not obligated to. They're obligated to if I help them move."
Exactly, yeah.
Shit,
Dude, not to bring it down at all, but that was something I remember doing for my older brother. He can't even help me move now. It's like, I helped him move. Like, let me tell you this real quick. I helped him move. We had kind of a relationship, but that was a good day. I helped him out or whatever. It was cool. Jonathan didn't lift a finger to help that man move, and then one day he randomly brought him to Buffalo Wild Wings or like a Hooters or whatever. And I'm like, but not for the one who put in the
help
sweat.
you move.
Whatever.
Yeah,
All right, I
bro.
see. I get it. Whatever. That works. That's fine.
Yeah, see, that's that hurt. I'm with that's some red shit. That is some red shit if I ever heard it. So I'm gonna CC him on this to hear this. But all right, without further ado, let's jump into it. 1123. We're not gonna do the brief summary thing. Talk about it like we will for 24. Just what did you think of this chapter? Obviously, it was a chapter that we see the Straw Hats are setting off to Elbaf officially, but we get to learn the backstory of because some people were very like, why didn't Vegapunk figure out it was York? Well, we find out that he did, and that he knew that the government was coming to kill him, and basically he wiped his memory. Atlas, and
Not Atlas.
not Atlas. Which one is the clock one? He just looks like a clock to me.
I know. He was the one who, honestly, and I hate to say this about him, he got done quick.
Yeah, he really didn't matter. But we got Daft Punk, Stella, Shaka, yeah, Vegapunk, and then Clock Homie. So they erased their memories. It just gave more information on Vegapunk and knowing and basically cutting himself off of York. Anything you liked from this chapter?
Yeah, for the record, that was Pythagoras the Wise.
Pythagoras.
And then number one was Shaka the Good. So, yeah, I liked it just because, like, I think it was good to, like, kind of send off, like, Vegapunk properly. I didn't really necessarily buy into the framing, but I know some people were probably a little disappointed of, like, Egghead started as kind of like a murder mystery thing, and then we kind of jumped past it whenever the Admiral showed up. I didn't necessarily mind that. I don't know if we needed a whole chapter dedicated to it, but I don't mind that we got one either, It was kind of like this, and then 24, like I said, I think you kind of read them together back to back. It's like a denouement. I think it'll be very good whenever it becomes a volume, and you're reading the whole way through. I think it'll feel very good. As a weekly, I don't necessarily know about it.
Yeah, as a weekly, I was upset. The only thing I liked that was Sanji was justified. Like, people who were calling Sanji a fraud, it was like, no. Vegapunk told him he wanted to die and, like, let him be.
Yeah, and also, spoilers for 1124, but I think a lot of people have been theorizing this. It's not that it didn't matter, but death for Vegapunk is not the same thing for everyone else. And we can kind of get in that when talk about four. But yeah, I don't know. Good background. I think it kind of also develops York and Lilith a little bit, which I think is important since they are the Vegapunks we have going forward. Not to say that York was necessarily dumb or whatever, but she wasn't smarter than all the other Vegapunks put together,
Nope.
Which I think is important to establish. you know.
For sure.
It also explains kind of why Shaka was doing some of the stuff that he was doing and everything. It's still, I don't know.
He intrinsically knew.
It still doesn't necessarily, I think, help us understand, and I know people get tired about it, why Vegapunk messaged Dragon, but I guess that's fine. You know, whatever.
Yeah, I don't know about that shit.
And I will also say this. I think it goes to show you, like, granted, obviously it was Vegapunk who was just minus 2 weeks worth of memories, but, like, I think if anything, it does kind of show how smart they are and what they can do with very little bits of information, because they basically had like 30 minutes to wake up and start doing shit, you know. And I think for the most part, they still succeeded on what became like a massive amount of like just bullshit that headed their way, you know?
Yep, no, for sure. So, and it definitely expounded on how smart they are and everything, and it definitely laid the foundation for like how, like we were talking about in our town hall, I believe, with Lilith and York being the only two. It's not like one smarter than the other. They're both at equal footing, essentially.
Yeah, and now a lot of it's gonna be based on resources and what they can get a hold of.
Mm-hmm. Especially obviously, since Punk Records is kind of kaput.
Yeah, well, it's paused.
It's paused, yeah, for sure.
And also I will say, good art, blah blah whatever, but especially the last page with Usopp staying on top of the Giants. Anyone who is thinking Usopp is gonna get, and granted, this could age horribly, and I'm prepared to accept that. Anyone who thinks Usopp is not going to get his shine in Elbath, look at the last page of 1123 with them Giants holding him up and him partying. And granted, again, it's also funny because Luffy's next to him in his like old man droopy mode, which is great. But yeah, Usopp's going to get some shine. Like, I think Usopp's really going to like take the cake this chapter. Robin too, but we'll get to that with 1124. So
for sure. And with that, let's get to 1124. We'll do a brief summary of it, let you know what's going on, and then we'll deep dive into it. It's 1124 Best Friend. Starts off with Yamato and a woman. They are basically seeing a kidnapping on their way to Kiri, and I'm sure Yamato is going to go stop that kidnapper. We then jump over to Big News Morgan, where Big News Morgan's like, it's time for me to drop the tea. I got so much tea. This tea is piping hot. And Vivi's like, chill, bro. We do not need to spread the tea. And he's like, shut up, B. I run this. This is my gossip site. I'm Gossip Girl. I'm going to post what I want to post. And Vivi's like, stop being messy, bro. Stop being messy. Don't be Gossip Girl. And Wapo's like, hold
up, Vivi. What's that gossip site you love so much? The Voice of the City or whatever? Is that who you running with?
No. See, okay, wait. You didn't get my reference. That's funny. I made that reference. Oh, yeah. No, I was using the Gossip Girl thing. Shout out to the lady fans out there listening to this. Or men fans who watch Gossip Girl. I watch Gossip Girl. Mm-hmm. So, but no, the site I watch, I'll use is Gossip in the City. Shout out to Fee. But basically, Morgan's running his gossip column and letting people know. And Wapo's like, let him print what he wants. And Vivi's like, nah, bro, you can't be doing all that. I don't care if you kick me off. You're not going to say Luffy killed Vegapunk when he didn't do all that. So, and we then jump over. We see the Marine Sentomaru is leaving Egghead Island in a damn paddle boat, bro. Feel bad for him by himself with like some supplies and is crying on his way out. Of course, Akainu's bitch ass is calling like, Borsellino, what happened? And
from outside the club.
Borsellino's like, shut the fuck up because you don't know I had to kill my best friend. And we even see some characterization from Sakazuki where he apologizes for the situation. We then cut over to the giant ship and we get a perspective of how big the giant ship is with the Straw Hats. Lilith awakes, finds out that Luffy's sad. Lilith then tells Luffy there's nothing to be sad about. You succeeded because I am Vegapunk and you saved me. Then the Straw Hats start partying as they're on their way to Elbath. And in the last little corner on the left, we see someone saying, come on then, as they're drinking their presumed liquor, waiting for the Straw Hats to get to Elbath. So I'll assume we'll start in the beginning.
Yes, one quick flashback from me to 1123 because there's one thing I want to mention. Everyone back in 1123 was knocked out by the Joy Boy Hockey, which obviously was a pretty big deal, except seemingly Kizaru, who obviously an admiral, and also the Seraphim, which I think is good for like power scaling purposes to show like how strong they are. Obviously, most of the rest of them are vice admirals and stuff, so we weren't expecting a ton from them. But I don't know. I think it's pretty important. I know I made a joke, but, you know, the fact that Shanks got kind of a reverse shout-out, I think was pretty funny.
saying, man. Look, that's not even.
I mean, it's Joy Boy hockey.
Let me just shout. See, this is that same shit. This is that same shit I've been talking about Drake, where niggas just be hating just to hate, but it's worse with Shanks. It's worse.
Don't combine Shanks for your own sanity. Don't combine those two.
It's worse.
I respect Shanks so much.
Shanks is different. It's different. People just hate Shanks just to hate him. When how we gonna compare Joy Boy hockey to him? Joy Boy's the fucking god of this story. Dude is supposed to have the strongest hockey, but that just shows how my man Shanks got the strongest hockey in the world so far. So, and it did make me think this is more of a town hall discussion. We could do it there, but I'm gonna just bring it up so you can start to think about it. I know everybody has said, myself included, that Blackbeard's gonna kill Shanks, but like, if Shanks' hockey is as strong as we think it is, and Blackbeard doesn't have nearly as close, I don't see how one of those fruits, which is the Yami Yami no Mi, which is meant to negate devil fruits, I don't think Whitebeard's fruit is enough on its own if Shanks has Roger-level hockey when Roger fought Whitebeard, who had Supreme with his devil fruit. If Blackbeard doesn't have close to that, I don't know how, but he did scar Shanks. We can never forget that. I'm just very interested in that. I thought about that the other day.
And I will say that I've never really been one of the guys who's like, for sure, Shanks is absolutely going to die or whatever.
Yeah, you haven't been. That's why I asked it specifically to you.
Yeah, so, I don't know. Like, because, he should counter. Kaido even said with practically, not his actual dying breath, in my opinion, but he was like, anybody who thinks they can do stuff just with devil fruits is an idiot.
And
hockey rules the seas.
We saw that with the fucking, arguably the strongest devil fruits with the Gorosei. Joy Boy's hockey sent them the fuck back to Marijois, bro. Like, and I know Blackbeard's devil fruit isn't on their level. Granted, Shanks' hockey's not on Joy Boy's, but I mean, Shanks' hockey, I would assume, is... I'll just say it like this. If Roger could fight Whitebeard with just his hockey, and Whitebeard had the same hockey level as Roger, then I'm sorry, but Blackbeard has to have at least the same hockey level as Shanks, or that shit's not working because the Yami Yami is negated for the most part.
We gotta remember though, Blackbeard will fucking cheat every time.
Yeah, true.
100 times out of 100 times he will cheat.
True. Just wanted to point that out, but yeah.
So start of the chapter, like you said, we got the propaganda. There's not like a ton to say about it other than I do think it's great Vivi action. Missed it for a long time. You know me, we kind of got it, but we kind of didn't. I pretty much swore that we were going to get like Vivi and the crew pulling up at the last second to see it live and in color. And I don't think they're that far away, but clearly that did not happen. But obviously, I mean, if anybody was going to be in the nose, Big News Morning. Charlie had like 15 transponder snails all logged in.
And the shit was live. Live stream.
Yeah.
Too.
Like I said, he probably had like 15 of the little visual snails going up, and he had every one of his reporters writing down every word from multiple angles to catch it, you know?
To me, this chapter really, like, the best part of this chapter is the Akainu Kizaru shit. Like, seeing Kizaru show that emotion, that level of emotion, shows that the Marines are humans, and it shows that, you know, Kizaru's getting sick of this shit, and also it definitely humanized Akainu by having him apologize to Kizaru.
Yeah, which I didn't even catch until like my second read through. I kind of thought it was a case of like way to beat and then Kizaru apologizing, but that's what's important about the layout of the the layout of the bubbles to make sure we can watch that. Yeah, like
and
I don't know.
And then Kizaru telling him to watch your mouth and Akainu not saying nothing.
Yeah, doubling down.
That's how you know Akainu, like, you know, acknowledged that he fucked up. If this was Fujitora or Green Bull, I don't think it goes down like this. I think it's more so because Kizaru and him have a special bond.
They're the oldest, like, senior members of the Admiral.
Yeah, and Kizaru might be older than Akainu, I believe.
Yeah, by a little bit, I believe, yes.
And he might have been, like, someone, you know, that Akainu looked up to, in a sense.
Yeah, sort of like, you know, like a...
Mirio
not so like full big bro, but, you know...
Yeah,
you know, he's your upperclassman, you followed him for a little bit, you know, and then he became your peer. But yeah, you know, like, I don't know. I think it's one of those things where it just kind of shows, like, again, a sort of almost Luffy-like power where Luffy and Vegapunk, despite being completely different when it comes to, like, brain power, are so close mentally. And, like, the way that they're able to, like, bend people to, you know, not necessarily to their will, but friendship or whatever. You know, Kizaru became a friend. He helped build Egghead from jump. Like, we knew forever ago, ever since the Pasta Vista show up, that Vegapunk and Kizaru had to be at least kind of tight. Because he's not going around basing models off of the magma fruit or the ice fruit or whatever. You know, and like that's no small task or whatever. And it's not just because the light fruit is theoretically the most useful. You know, like they had a bond, they had a friendship. Kizaru could get there easily and whenever they needed to. And him and Kuma and Bonnie all like they did the Nika dance. They had big pizza, you know.
Yeah, they hung out legit.
Yeah,
a lot.
Egghead is partially the way that it is, in part because of these 4 people living on it and it being their home for those few years. I like seeing Sentomaru get away. I'm proud of him. I don't know what he's going to do now.
Yeah, dude's homeless again.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I think that's interesting to speculate. Sentomaru's like, he's not nothing. I know he's mostly like in special operations or whatever, like Vegapunk's bodyguard.
He's a criminal now, legitimately.
Yeah, you know, like he's one, a criminal, two, he's like of decent strength. Granted, you know, whenever we saw him be the most effective was back whenever Sabaody happened, but Luffy and the crew weren't no slouches and they could not touch him. You know?
Yep. And like, look, he didn't like die to Rob Lucci. He wasn't gonna beat Rob Lucci, but like, look, I think Sentomaru could hang with some vice admirals, which, you know, will have him strong enough to survive out in these seas. I would take Sentomaru over Tashigi. I'd take Sentomaru over maybe Groose at this point. Like, for what I know, definitely, if not Groose, then definitely everybody else in Kobe's crew. And that's including Helmeppo. If not Groose and Kobe, but like, and maybe not Smoker, but he's in that range of like, yo, I think he could hang with those guys.
Yeah, and not only that, but like and I'm not gonna say that like he's like a Vegapunk or whatever, but he does know stuff. He's picked stuff up. He knows the ins out and operations of it or whatever. Like he's an asset.
And if he finds a pacifista or someone that's has those chips, he can get him to roll with him for, you know,
exactly.
For a minute.
Yeah, you know, like I think he's equal to everyone except like directly in the CVs. Yeah, like that's a pretty good little thing to have in your back pocket. Like, how many times are the Gorosei gonna like appear just to like stop like 3 or 4 pacifistas from doing some shit?
Facts.
You know, and for a lot of islands in the world, you only need like one. You know.
So I mean, we could maybe see Sentomaru pop up back with the final war on Luffy's side. It'll be very interesting to see what he does going forward. And then I guess the last important thing is, you know, Lilith is alive. Lilith says that Luffy and them succeed. The Vegapunks didn't die, and you know we're headed to Elbaf. And I just like seeing how the giant ship, it just contextualized how small Luffy and them are to the giants, bro. It looks like action figures on my couch.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like, I don't know. It looks like you ever seen like little kids or whatever, or like granted just like short people where like the chair is so big or whatever. I was out shopping for new chairs for my grandma today, and like some of the chairs she sat in, like she's like a little bit of a shorter lady now because she's older, like kicking her little feet, you know, off the side.
No, but this is worse than that, bro. They're like little dots. Like,
yeah,
these are like literally if I put this Yuji figure on my couch.
Like a whole family could chill on one giant seat.
Yes, their whole house could probably go on a giant seat.
And I will, yeah, you know, like I'm really happy. Like the Kizaru drawing was great and everything, and that does lead us to the fact that, you know, and let me just say, the only thing I kind of wish with Sentomaru is I kind of almost wish you got to like hang out with either York or with not York, with either Lilith or Bonnie. But I think he might find his way back around to them at some point, you know, as sort of like a bonding thing. But yeah, like, I'm glad that we got a breakdown. Lilith, you know, like, no longer has a direct connection, or at least it's spotty at best. You know, she's upset that obviously the rest of the Vegapunks died, even though she's the quote-unquote evil one. I think it goes to show you a difference between, like, what Vegapunk views as evil versus greed. You know, like, it's violence and it's kind of greed, but, you know, like, if anything, it seems to be a case of, like, always prepared to do whatever it takes to survive pretty much at all cost. But I don't think, like...
ambition, too.
Yeah, and I don't think Lilith's evil, like, is enough to, like, necessarily, like, rock the boat whenever they know they have a good thing going, you know? that's the difference between them and York. Whereas York always wants more and will never ever be satisfied.
Yeah, York is 100% just like fucking. She's greed, honestly, like in the sense of she's gluttony, which is a form in the sense of greed.
Yeah, all she wants to do is eat and take and probably like pleasure and laziness and all that. Just whatever she can to just grab
for self.
She'll never ever be satisfied. Difference between Lilith, who I think can be satisfied.
And honestly, York is for the self, where Lilith always did. Like the fact that she cried about the Vegapunks shows that she cares about others more than York does.
Yeah, like I think Lilith has pride in being a satellite, but also like understands that they were at their most like valuable whenever there was all 7 of them. Whereas York doesn't want to share fucking anything with anyone.
Nope, not at all. But love seeing the Straw Hats party with the Giants, seeing Dorian Broggy in there, Kashimi and the other guy from Innie's lobby. Who do you think the person is?
Well, hold on. We had one last thing, which is the fact that it was revealed that all the Vegapunks are kind of alive. And they don't go into detail about that.
Yeah, I viewed it as like they're alive because, Lilith and York are alive.
No, dude. I think they got uploaded to the brain at last second. They just don't have bodies. Like, that's how I took it, and I think that's what a lot of people are understanding is like, because she had a last second connection before it got broken, mind you, to Punk Records. I think all that data and all that stuff is saved into Punk Records. They just need to make them new bodies at some point, which is why Vegapunk I think was okay with dying.
So where do you? So what phrase makes you think that? Which one?
I'll read it. I see. So Luffy's been taking it badly. It's all right though. I just heard about it, and I'm sure. And we know that's in reference to the fact that like she just woke up, and York Atlas like busted open like her ear connector, so she's no longer connected. But I think like her last save file, basically, as she was getting that done, she says, "It's like I was crying because I was sad about everyone's death. However, it's all a matter of perspective. Here's the truth. To put it simply, everyone's alive, even if they're functionally dead."
See, okay, so so that thing, I viewed that as like
No, but see, then they say, so they're ghosts? Get it?
Yeah, see, I see, and see, they wouldn't be ghosts, because they're alive. I don't know. Well,
but here's the thing,
one of those I'm going to have to wait and see.
But here's the thing, Len, people understand the concept of inherent will, and they don't confuse that with ghost. So I don't see it as an inherited will thing. I see it as they're in the fucking big brain. They're just trapped there until someone's going to build them bodies. But we'll see. We will see.
That's one of those that I'm going to have to wait and see on that.
Oda purposely kept it a little
ambiguous for sure. And I think the brain is like, I feel like if the brain dies, then Lilith and York are out of there.
No, I agree, but it ain't dead yet. So
true. But yeah,
see, I also don't know. Well, Luffy also comes back and he's super fucking happy and excited. I don't necessarily know if he flipped the switch that hard. If it's just like, nah, man, I have their will now. 100 P.
But see, I don't even know if it's like a will. Like, I don't even know if I'm viewing it as like a will thing. I think it's like because their bodies, and like you said, that brain is alive, then Vegapunk is alive. I just feel like.
So do you think? Do they think that they're? So do you think that like they're ghostwriting and in Lilith's head then, or what?
That's a good question.
I'm not opposed to that either. Like almost like a Kami like a Kami Piccolo thing.
Or even like the One for All vestiges being inside of Deku type shit. See, I didn't even think of that. Like, I thought they were just gone, like, at first, but I wouldn't mind that. Like, I would definitely, I kind of prefer that if they, like, were alive and, honestly, I would like them to be alive in both. Yeah, like, and when I say alive, I'm meaning vestiges, like their,
of course,
their aura, their spirit, and I feel like, I think York should receive the bad end of that. Like, if they are essentially there and like their consciousness is still around, I would actually like that.
You know what? It would be really interesting for me if like one, if either they were one saved inside of Lilith, but also back in Punk Records. York obviously has Punk Records, but it'd be interesting if like if they were saved in Punk Records and they remember, hey, Lilith is the betrayer, which they should know. Rather that York's the betrayer, they should know. If like they very subtly fuck with her designs, like they whisper in your ear, like, hey, you should probably do it this way, and then it's like little things that make each pacifista a little bit shittier, you know. And York isn't smart enough to, one, understand what's going on, and two, just like a way of kind of like gently suppressing her creations and like letting Lilith do whatever she wants, you know. Like
that'd be interesting for sure.
Yeah.
I'm just very interested to see how they do this. Is this gonna be they can come back? Is this gonna be that they're just consciousness inside of them? Very interesting to see what's gonna happen from that. All right, but who do you think's the silhouette? Who do you think that guy is? Man marked by flames, Loki, God Knight. I saw some people talking about that. I don't think it's Shanks, even though some people like that looks like Shanks' hand. I'm as the resident Shanks fan, he left. I don't see him.
I don't know why people instantly were like, yeah, it's fucking Shanks. Like you said, he set him out.
Yeah, he's going to do his own thing right now.
I just don't know why Oda would bother to tell us he left.
And to silhouette him. Like, that's another thing.
Yeah, like, if he's there and he's saying, come on, then have it be his face, you know, that one Shanks face that we kind of get, and be like, all right, Luffy, time to meet. Yeah. And maybe even have the sword out. Not ready like in go. Like a, you know, not like in a, I'm going to kill you way, but in a like, yeah, all right, let's get it going.
Mm-hmm. But if he does, if Shanks is an Elbaf, I think it's going to be he comes back later in the chapter. I do not think the silhouette is him.
The thing about the silhouette is I wouldn't mind it being a giant, but it's so hard to tell based on the bit of background how big this motherfucker is.
Yeah, it's true.
I think it's whoever Crocus is having the drink with in that one color spread. Because like the roundness, unless it's a big round-headed guy, which it could be.
The roundness of the hat. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, you know, which granted, it could be a big round-headed giant. Oda has messed with silhouettes before. He did it with Vegapunk himself. No one thought Vegapunk was going to look like that.
And that man with Crocus could be the man marked by flames. Also could be that man sitting there could have been Scopper Gaban. Because let's not act like his hair didn't look like Gaban's when we saw the future version. Only difference is he was blonde and Gaban's is black. But like, let's not act like Oda hasn't changed Rayleigh's hair. Also, when he was younger, could have been black and just goes lighter. Yeah, you know,
like Jinbei's hair has changed because Fishman's hair changes different color. It blackens actually as it gets older, which is interesting.
So we could see whoever that is, but I'm gonna go with you on that. I could definitely see it being that man sitting there, but I do think it's the man marked by flames. I do think that.
Which I mean could be literally anybody until we find out. Like I mean, not literally anybody. We know some people are marked by flames, but between now and the 2-year time skip, we haven't seen anybody who's been flamed up. Anybody could have been inflamed since then. If we didn't know Sabo existed, Sabo could have been the man marked by flames. You know, you just literally don't know. I don't think it's worth speculating. Just like that one silhouette we had a few chapters ago, whenever we had like all the big, you know, kings and whatever, and like we had that one guy. Silhouette. Yeah, it's like I think that's interesting. I'd bet my money.
And that's why I said God Knight. This guy could be that guy.
Yeah, but the only reason why I'm anti-God Knight is just because I think that's a defensive force. I don't think they should be out in the world. That's a CP0 thing. Like, if the God Knights are allowed to just go anywhere, then that's still weird. You know, I don't know.
Hey man, they're God Knights. They do what they please.
Yeah, and
can't tell them shit.
Shout out to Pharaoh for the Shanks twin and/or clone theory. Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, no, look, I was one of those proponents of that theory. I'm not mad at that. It could be. I definitely think it's going to be someone. I think there's going to be someone related to him. But we could talk about that at a town hall because I could break that down. Because definitely I'm a proponent of that theory. But hell yeah, man. Excited for Elbaf. I know how excited you and Jazz are that we're finally getting there. So it's time. Do you think there'll be another chapter before we get to Elbaf of like what's going on in the world?
That's kind of hard to say. Like, we're getting a break next week, so I kind of feel that, but at the same time, like, you know, with these in between chapters, Oda can kind of do whatever he wants. It's really not until the crew lands that we stay at the island, you know? And even then, we've seen throughout this entire arc, at least, although Egghead itself is kind of weird.
He doesn't stay, he doesn't have to stay at the island like it used to be.
Yeah, I think the final saga in general is going to be pretty opened up. I don't think it's going to break up the flow that much, but like if he finds a good stopping point for Shy Adventures, he'll take some chapters. I wouldn't mind, and you know what? I'll even say this: I don't think obviously we're going to start right off the bat being on Elbath, so we'll probably, I think part of the reason why Morgan's is reporting is because we're going to see at least a little bit of bounty increase. We'll probably also have to inform the crew that Law's gone and Kid's gone, because they mentioned it at the beginning of the chapter 2. Like, I have a bevy of information that I could write about, Law versus Blackbeard, Shanks versus Kid. All that shit needs to get updated now.
Yeah, and we know. Look, Law's not gone. We know Law survived. Kid? I don't know about Kid. We gonna see. I still think he has, but my man Law is alive. Don't write him off. Beppo saved his ass.
Yeah, I agree. So, But yeah, I do also agree though that even if not, if he has any intel on how that went down, though, I'm willing to bet, which I think Law would even be happy about for the most part.
Oh yeah,
because he doesn't want the notoriety. He doesn't. Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, because he hears about other shit. He doesn't really care about the bounty.
Yeah, he's trying to figure out what the D is. He has more important fish to fry. No, that's for sure. And interesting, Blackbeard's about to go up. Shanks will too. I saw people talking about this, and this could be the final thing. Do you think after this? Because I saw someone saying this, and they made a lot of sense. How doesn't Luffy have the highest bounty after this? Dude fought 5 Gorosei, bro. Like, how? Like, and I get it. He might not be the strongest, but I'm just saying, in what he did to the world government, took out Kizaru, the admiral, beat his ass, beat Rob Lucci, and fought 5 Gorosei, got the giants on his side, and left to Elbath. How does he not have the highest bounty?
I think it pretty much comes down to this. I think whenever he was first declared the new Yonko, they suppressed him. They kept him the same as Kid and Law. Mm-hmm. A little bit. Like, they were like, we're giving the title of Emperor to Shot Luffy, but we're keeping his bounty the same as these two. I guess it depends. Like, I mean, are they going to suppress him or not? And also, how many bounties, increases or otherwise, do we think we're getting in the story? Because I don't know if they're even going to report on anything that happens in Elbath until the very end. And even then, I don't know if they're going to want Luffy's name attached to it. Because Elbath, not unlike Wano, is considered like outside of jurisdiction.
No, I don't think they're gonna get a bounty. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if there's gonna be one after Elbath, but like for this Egghead, like
that's what I'm saying. If he's gonna get to the top, now's not a bad time to do it. I just don't know, because I feel like they want to suppress it. They're not gonna mention the Gorosei over there, obviously. Period.
Yeah, but even if they don't, like, he beat Kizaru and Rob Lucci.
You know what? I could see him getting close to, if not matching or slightly above Shanks.
That's what I was about to say. I don't think he's going to be Roger yet. I think they're going to save that for when he's
Roger's the end of these.
Yeah, for sure. But I think
he will get Gomu no Mi as the number 56566.
Like 4-6 something, like let him be 4-6, 4-8. Like, he should be high.
But then again, Blackbeard does get the clout
for being Law. No, for sure. Blackbeard goes
not just Law, but Garp.
Oh yeah.
How are they going to handle? I need to know how they're going to handle Garp.
Yeah, true.
Like, are they going to suppress it, just like with Luffy? Are they not going to own up to the fact that the hero of the Marines has been taken, or are they going to be like, Blackbeard is a bad motherfucker who we all need to keep an eye out on? He captured Garp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. See, okay, I think Blackbeard should get a raise.
The only one who shouldn't get a range, honestly, is Shanks. Who cares that he beat Kid?
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit, but it's really not
crazy.
The most important thing.
Yeah, no, for sure. I still think Luffy should be the highest Yonko. I definitely think after this, like, yeah, Blackbeard beat Law and has Garp, but like, this man Luffy did a lot of crazy shit, bro. Like, dude busted in the and Egghead, fought multiple vice admirals, all these people, and left with the giants unscathed. What a Vegapunk.
Yeah, but then again, will they give Shanks free clout for the giants coming to escort him? I don't know.
You know, Morgan's is quick to say, oh, he has them as his sidekicks.
Yeah, now. I say, yeah, he's got Luffy stock.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He's juicing Luffy. He was the first one to say, Straw Hat Luffy is a Yonko. And y'all don't even understand it.
He wants to say he killed Vegapunk. I know Vivi's trying to stop that, but like, I don't know.
Yeah. And we got to keep in mind, this is the incident that is supposed to shake the world.
Change the world, yeah.
So, you know what? Fine. Just because of the Garp and Law thing, I'm going to put it this way. All of them close. Blackbeard, Luffy, Shanks. That's my order.
I'm going Luffy, Shanks, and Blackbeard tied because Shanks has past clout.
Yeah. I don't know, but the number's coming up, though.
Sure. I'm putting Blackbeard and Shanks. Like, Blackbeard may maybe like a Sanji Zoro thing where when Sanji had a higher bounty, it was like by 100. I think they're close, but Luffy's number one for sure. I got that.
The day that Shanks and Luffy meet, regardless of the circumstance, let's forget all the other theories. The day they meet, we need to see the Gorosei and other admirals and shit talk about it the same way as Shanks and Whitebeard, and Big Mom and Kaido teaming up, even if it's not a formal alliance. Mm-hmm. They need to be like, we have 1,000,001 eyes on this situation. Because this could flip the whole fucking table.
And honestly, when they meet, look, I know Whitebeard fans are going to be upset of what I'm about to say. It's scarier than Whitebeard and Kid and Big Mom and Kid. Like, when Luffy and Shanks meet, that's the scariest thing we've seen
because, I mean...
since Whitebeard Roger.
Yes, I agree, because obviously, in part, we know Whitebeard was amazing. I love him. You know, he's the GOAT. But it was also... it was a sick, older Whitebeard who was ready to pass the torch to a new generation, and Shanks, who was very, very powerful. Shanks, still firmly in his prime, and up and coming, getting into his prime Luffy... you know, with the Nika no Mi fully awakened, is strictly a bigger deal when the only other pieces on the board are the Marines, who are not doing very good right now, fucking Blackbeard.
Yeah. Ooh, that's going to be crazy. But, all right, Verson, tell the people where they can follow you on social media.
You can follow me at Verson Vassal pretty much anywhere, or you can follow me at my government name, Josh Tosco, pretty much anywhere. Cool stuff happening, you know, readjusting to, like, these new jobs, but everything's going well, and like I said, I'll be on vacation. Might post a little bit on social media about going up north for like a week.
Hell yeah, bro. Well, y'all make sure to follow Verson. You can follow me at LinBBT. Follow Bro Think at Bro Think. Be sure to check out all of our amazing content. A lot of shit dropping this week, so be on the lookout for it. Until next time, have a good one and peace.